The objective here is to make math as simple as possible for everyone. So today we're gonna go over adding and subtracting integers. After this video, you should know everything that you need to know about adding and subtracting integers. Now let's say you're adding two positive numbers. Example, you're adding 6 plus 4. When you're adding two numbers with the same sign, you add the numbers and you keep the sign. In this case, 6 plus 4 is 10, and because both numbers are positive, your answer is positive 10. Now we're gonna add a negative and a positive numbers. Remember, we're adding a negative and a positive numbers. Let's look at an example. Let's say we're adding negative 5 plus 6. Negative 5, that's a negative number, plus 6 is a positive number. So when you're adding two numbers, look at the sign. If they have the opposite sign, you don't do anything else but subtract the numbers. In this case, the answer is 1, but you're not done yet. You have to look at which number is larger and what is the sign for that number. In this case, 6 is larger and 6 has a positive sign, so that's why your answer is positive. Okay? Now let's look at another example. Now the question is reversed. We have negative 6 plus 5. Look at the sign. Both numbers have two different signs. 6 is negative, 5 is positive. Because the signs are different, you subtract. That's 1. But in this case, the 6 himself has a negative sign and 6 is larger than 5, so your answer has to be negative. So that's why in this case the answer is negative 1. Okay, now we're adding two negative numbers, so we're gonna have two negative numbers. Example, negative 4, that's a negative number, negative 5 is a negative number. You adding them. When you're adding two numbers with the same sign, even if they are negative, even if they are positive, you automatically add them. So first you have to reduce this sign. Whenever you have a positive and a negative sign next to each other, it gives you a negative. Okay? Now it becomes adding two numbers with the same sign. So when you're adding two numbers with the same sign, like we did before, you add the numbers, you keep the sign because the signs are the same. So in this case, it's negative 9. Now we're subtracting two negative numbers. So this is a negative number, this is a negative number, we're subtracting them. But first we have to reduce the sign. Whenever you have two signs next to each other, you have to reduce that to 1. A negative and a negative gives you a positive. Now the problem becomes negative 5 plus 6 because a negative and negative gives you a positive. Now we ended up with two numbers with different sign. Negative 5 plus 6. What did I say before? Whenever you add two numbers with different sign, you subtract. So automatically that's 1. But you're not done yet. Look at the sign of each number. 6 is larger and it has a positive sign, so therefore your answer has to be positive. Another example, you're subtracting two numbers with the negative sign. Negative 7 minus negative 4. Like I said before, you have to reduce those two signs to 1, and because a minus and negative has to be positive, so now it becomes negative 7 plus 4. The next step is to look at the numbers and the sign. They have different sign. Whenever they have different sign, what did I say before? You subtract. But because 7 is larger than 4 and 7 has a negative sign, your answer has to be negative. Now this problem, you need to try them yourself. First, see if you can get this right. Pause the video and solve it. Okay. So 4 plus 3, these are two positive numbers. So you know you're just going to add them up and it's 7. It's positive because both signs are set and positive. So the answer is 7. Next, think about this problem. 4 minus 3. 4 has a positive sign. 3 is negative. Because they have different sign, what do? You subtract. Next, look at which number has the sign, which number is larger and what is the sign of that number. 4 is larger. 4 has a positive sign, so your answer is positive. Next, think about this one. Now is reverse. -4 plus 3. As you can see, different sign. What do? We subtract. But because 4 is larger and 4 has a negative sign, your answer is negative. No problem. Now we have 4 plus -3 is the same as adding two numbers with the opposite sign. 4 is positive, 3 is negative. But first, because we have two signs next to each other, we have to reduce it. Remember, whenever you have a positive next to a negative, it gives you a negative. So now it's 4 minus 3. Now we have two numbers with different signs. This is positive 4 minus 3. Automatically subtract because they have different sign. And the number 4 is larger and it has a positive sign, so your answer is positive. Next, we have two numbers with the same sign. -4 minus 3. Because they have the same sign, what do? You add. And whenever because they have the same sign, after you add, you keep the sign. In this case, the sign is negative. Last problem, we adding two numbers. We subtracting, sorry, two numbers. -4 minus -3. So, but look at the problem. We have a negative, a minus, and a negative. We have two signs next to each other. A negative or a minus next to a negative turn into a positive. So this is -4 plus 3. Now we have a problem where two numbers have different sign. This is -4, this is 3 plus 3. What do? Different sign, you subtract. And which number has the larger, which number has which number is larger and what is the sign of that number? 4 is larger and 4 has a negative sign, so your answer is negative. Thank you guys for watching, and hit the bell for more video. Like the page and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.